Good morning. We're getting started here in just a moment. Welcome into Friday Morning Fuel. I am your wonderful host, Coach Mary. We got a lot of things going on today. A couple different camera angles for you. So, wanted to highlight mostly what we're cooking today. We're doing some gourmet instant noodles, and we're just going to show some ways that you can elevate your basic instant noodle, different ideas for some fiber, some protein, and some flavor as well. All right, so what's going on my stovetop here? We've got three different pans set up. I've got a cast iron skillet that is heating up. We're going to get some oil in that. We're going to saute our vegetables. I've also got two pots here with water. For our protein choice today, we're going to be using soft boiled eggs. So we've got one pot for my soft boiled egg. For our soft boiled egg, we're going to bring our water up to about just below a boiling, so about a simmering, so a little bit of bubbles. We're going to let that kind of bathe in that water for about 6 minutes or so, and then we're going to put it in an ice bath, which is going to stop that cooking process and give us that nice kind of jelly, gooey yolk in the center. And then for our noodles today, we're going to be using these Shin Black instant noodles. They come with its own seasoning packet, and we're going to use that seasoning packet today. We're going to cook the noodles first by themselves. They cook very quickly, about 4 minutes or so. We're going to empty our noodles into our ramen bowl. Then we're going to add in another water bath back to our pot, bring that up to a boil, and get our seasoning packet going. And then we'll toss in our vegetables as well. So welcome in, everybody, to Friday Morning Fuel. We're talking about some instant noodles today. So while we're waiting for things to heat up and water to start boiling, let's talk about the history of some of our instant noodles. So the noodle itself is actually believed to be a Chinese invention. We have records dating back thousands of years with allusions to that type of food and cuisine. And it believed that it spread out from China to the rest of Asia and then ultimately to the rest of the world. However, instant noodles were actually a more modern invention coming around in the 1950s out of Japan. The dried noodle block was originally created by flash frying cooked noodles. This method is still primarily used in Asian countries. However, Western countries use air-dried noodle blocks, so just a slightly different process. Dried noodle blocks are designed to be cooked or soaked in boiling water before eating. And generally, I think most people in their lifetime have seen instant noodles. They either come in a package or in its own little container cup that you can cook and eat out of. The main ingredients in instant noodles are flour, starch, water, salt, and a substance called kansui. And kansui is a type of water, alkaline mineral water. So remembering just some basic chemistry, that properties of different substances, they can be very acidic or they can be very alkaline or they can be somewhere in the neutral. So anything that is alkaline is kind of high end on that pH scale. So some of the properties that it lends to the noodles is that kansui changes both the flavor and the texture of the noodles, makes them feel slippery on the mouth and the fingers. So if you've ever eaten those noodles and they just slurp right in, covered in that broth, fantastic. They also develop a yellow color and they're a bit more elastic than regular noodles. So if you've been to like an Italian restaurant, the noodles tend to be doughy and very soft. These noodles are going to be a bit more structural. The yellow color that develops is a reaction between the naturally occurring flavonoids in the flour to the alkaline pH in that kansui. And then most importantly is the seasoning packet. So whether you get the packaged noodles or the cup noodles, they're going to come with a seasoning packet. And it's generally going to be made with things like salt, what we call monosodium glutamate, MSG, seasoning, and sugar. Some instant noodles are seal packed and can be reheated and eaten straight from the container. All right, so Most of your noodles are just going to come in like a basic package. Maybe it's going to have some dried vegetables, maybe some dried protein like shrimp, and then a seasoning packet. So what our goal here today is to just give you guys a little bit of inspiration of how you can make instant noodles to be a bit more of a classy experience. So we're going to add in some vegetables, fresh vegetables, which we will saute, and we're going to add in a soft-boiled egg for protein. So working on getting our water, our pan is nice and hot for sauteing our vegetables. That's, however, probably going to be our last step, so we're going to put that aside for now. My water is almost ready for the noodles, excuse me, and then we'll get the water for the soft-boiled egg coming up soon as well. So, our vegetables for today, we're going to be adding in some shiitake mushrooms and some asparagus. And then for a little bit more of some probiotics, so some good gut healthy ingredients, we're going to be adding in some kimchi. We usually keep a couple of varieties of kimchi in the fridge, but can be made with a couple of different ingredients. But those probiotics contain those live bacteria cultures that are very good, very healthy for our guts. All right, we're going to be doing one soft-boiled egg today. So for our soft-boiled eggs, similar to like the hard-boiled egg, we're getting our water bath. We're going to raise the temperature of our water. We're going to let our egg soak in there. We're only going to let it soak for about half the time of hard-boiled eggs, and then we're going to add it into our water bath to stop that process here. Fantastic. All right, so I know a lot of it right now is just going to be that waiting experience or waiting for things to come together, but welcome in. Drop a comment or let me know if you enjoy or have ever eaten instant noodles, if you have a favorite flavor, or even if you not really necessarily go the route of the instant noodles. Maybe you like to seek out like ramen and other different types of Asian noodle dishes. What's your favorite? Different cuisines, different cultures like to use different kinds of broth. The noodle shapes can be different, even the proteins that get selected. So very versatile dish. Can also be obviously cooked instantly today. We're taking our time and making it a little bit more flavorful, a little bit more pizzazz. Okay, so we're going to separate our noodles from our package. This is a large package of noodles here, so the noodles can be separated. You can serve a whole package or you can serve a half package. Today we're going to serve a whole package. All right, we got a comment about what is in the broth. So the broth, I believe, is traditionally going to be like a beef bone broth, but I'm pretty sure it would be very easy to make your own. We get these sometimes in the store. This is a like specific container that you can find in the soups and like stocks aisle that says that it is ramen broth. And just kind of a quick looking through the ingredients, it does say it has like organic pork flavor added to it. So this is not a vegetarian option, but I'm sure you could easily swap in a vegetarian like stock or broth. Okay, noodles. There we go. I'll make sure we don't drop this on the floor. All right, so our noodles, we have, in this packet, we've got a vegetable mix. So these are just some freeze-dried vegetables that once we toss it into the broth will become rehydrated. And then we've got our fried noodle puck here. So we're going to take our noodles here. Once I get my water up just a little bit hotter, we're going to wind up boiling our noodles here. You can also microwave water noodles together. And this is going to soak in our boiling water for about 4.5 minutes or so. Good. All right. We're going to take it over into... Nice. All right. Great. We've got our timer cooking. So I'm actually making this ramen for my partner. He is home this morning and he loves to make ramen. So I'm going to try my best to make this in the style and method in which he likes. So also in our packet we got soup bases. So these are essentially those like seasoned powders that you add to that water to give it a bit more flavor. Again, you could make your own broth and season it however you wish if you are somebody who's looking for maybe a little less sodium in your diet or just looking for a different kind of health outcomes. Might be a good option to make your own as well. Okay. So the other thing we've got going on, so we've got our water bath for our noodles and we've got our water. Tell you what, we're going to do a quick little exchange here. There we go. You go in that one. Nice. All right. Almost ready for our bath for our eggs. All right. So we're going to add in, so our water bath for our eggs, we're bringing that up to just a simmer. So we're not quite bringing it up to boiling. Once you start to see a few bubbles rising to the surface, that's about where we want it to go. We're going to let that just kind of roast in there a little bit. Nice. Noodles are getting nice and soft. So once our noodles are done, we're going to pour out this water. So I'm not adding the broth to this water. Right here, we're just cooking the noodles separately. We're going to make some fresh broth. All right. How's everybody's Friday going this morning? Not a whole lot happening. We've got a solar eclipse coming up in a few days. Total solar eclipse, actually. Unfortunately, I live here in Durham, North Carolina, so I don't think we're going to have the best viewing capability for the eclipse. But that's okay. We lived in Texas during the last one, so not a problem. We've heard from a lot of friends and family that it's getting really busy as far as the number of people arriving and getting ready to go view the solar eclipse. All right. Noodles are almost done here. Once those are done, I'm going to pour noodles into, got my nice little ramen bowl here. I picked this up at a nice little pottery shop last year. So this one is handmade. Very nice, very pretty. It's got divots in it for you to rest your chopsticks. And then it's also got holes, so same thing, you can rest your, put your chopsticks through and kind of carry your bowl to your table. Okay. All right, so aside from waiting for everything to come to temperature, this should all come together relatively quickly. We're using eggs as our protein source today. You can also use different protein sources. You could absolutely go something more plant-based, using some like tofu or other kind of soy or even beans. Another easy option is rotisserie chicken, just grabbing one already freshly made from the store, just pulling some meat off of the bones. It's already nice and flavored as well. Another popular option is Spam. Very, very salty, very umami for your bowl. All right, so our noodles are done. Turn that off. All right, we're gonna empty our noodles and then put fresh water in. Okay. All right, so for the time being, we're gonna do noodles in that bowl to rest. We're gonna get a little bit more water in here. All right, we got about another minute or so on our egg. I'm gonna add some oil to our skillet to get our veggies prepped and ready. I'm using cast iron skillet for the sauteing. Really nice, very heavy, durable pan, spreads the heat evenly. And then we're also going to go in with a little splash of avocado oil. Avocado oil is good for using really high heat, high temperatures. So that's what we're going to focus on. For our sauteing vegetables today, we're going to do just a very quick flash saute. So vegetables are going to go into the pan for maybe like a minute, 90 seconds tops. We just want to get a little bit of char on them, as they will continue to get softer sitting in the broth as well. All right. So we are once again at the step of waiting for our water to boil. All right, this is my first time making a soft-boiled egg, so you'll have to forgive me if this does not go well the way it intended. I can always, if it winds up not going well, just quickly scramble an egg in here to have a little bit more protein for his dish this morning. All right, so we're gonna take that soft-boiled egg out of the water bath into a ice water bath. Let me grab some tongs here. Super afraid of dropping this. Tongs. All right, ice water bath. All right, soft-boiled egg is now in our ice water bath to kind of instantly stop that process and give us that nice firm white egg white, but give us a nice soft runny yolk. So we're gonna let that go in for the very last step here. Again, we're bringing our heat up on our cast iron. I'm waiting for my fresh set of water to boil. We're going to add our avocado oil into our cast iron here so that way it comes to temperature nice and hot. Today's vegetables, in case you didn't catch it the first time around, we're going to work with some asparagus and some shiitake mushrooms. All right. Pan is nice and hot. Oil is getting just a little bit smoky. It's going to get a little loud and a little crackly in here, folks. We're going to flash saute our vegetables. So we've got some asparagus chopped up into about 2 to 3 inch pieces. We're going to take some of these mushrooms here, give it a quick stir. You could also use different vegetables here, green beans, corn, zucchini. You'd even go with radish. So things that are a little bit more starchy. So that way when they go into the broth, they still kind of retain some of that firmness while they soak. We're going to let this go here for another minute. We're going to add our vegetables. Nice. We're getting a little bit of browning going on here. We're going to add these vegetables back into our ramen bowl. We are almost ready to add in the packet of seasoning that came with the broth into our boiling water. We're just going to stir that up real quick, make sure that it's really well integrated, and then it's all going to come together in our bowl. All right. Very nice. Nice and loaded with vegetables. All right. We got our boiling water. See, it's all coming together nicely. I'm going to add in each of these packets. Stir it all up, and then let's see how we did on our soft-boiled egg. Okay, dried veggies that came with, nice, a little bit more mushrooms, some green onion. Looks like we've got some chili flakes as well. Perfect. All right, friends, thanks for sticking around this long. I'm going to give this a stir. We're going to add this in over our noodles and our veggies. I'm going to take a crack, pun intended, at our soft-boiled egg. Good. Let's get that heat off. All of our burners are off. Okay. Made just a hair too much for this bowl. That's all right. As he eats down, drinks down, we'll get a little bit more. All right. We've got our broth. We've got our noodles. We've got our fresh vegetables. Let's see how we did on our soft-boiled egg. So it's been soaking in our water bath, our ice water bath, for a few minutes now. All right. Very nervous about this. Let me grab a plate and a paper towel just in case this does wind up being a bit messier than I intended. Like I said, my pan is still hot, so if this does not turn out well, I'll just quickly scramble an egg for him. All right, so we're just going to lightly crack the bottom of the egg here. Good. Get a piece peeled off, and then I'm going to take a spoon here and just lightly pry around the edge. All right. It is definitely soft. It looks like I was not as successful with this soft-boiled egg, but like I said, it's my first time, and who really gets things right on their first try? Let's see. In hindsight, if I were to do soft-boiled egg again, I'd probably let it go maybe just a smidge longer in the ice bath, just to really separate out that egg. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us for Friday Morning Fuel. First Friday of every month. If there's a particular topic you'd like to know more about, see more about, recipes that you want me to try, feel free to just reach out, leave a comment anywhere, Instagram, YouTube, Teams, or if you just see me around in person, let's talk about it. All right. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to post a picture of the finished product for you guys so you can see how my soft-boiled egg turned out. Thanks, everyone. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next time.